Hi, and welcome to VIBEZ Daily. This is a daily devotional curated by VIBEZ Church to help you practice the way of Jesus and be all that God has called you to be. You have joined us for our year-long series titled Devoted. Acts 2:42 tells us that the followers of Jesus were devoted to the apostles' teaching, to fellowship, to breaking of bread, and to prayer. This podcast was created to provide context and commentary for what you read each day. Just before our friends begin discussing today's reading, we want to invite you not only for fellowship, but for prayer as well. We have created the VIBEZ Daily Chat Group to offer you fellowship and a community where you can state your observations, ask questions about the reading or the podcast. You can join us by downloading the VIBEZ Church app in your favorite app store. Click Join the Conversation and join us today. And finally, we hope that you can join us for prayer. Prayer happens Monday through Friday, and more information on that can be found on the VIBEZ Church app under prayer. Now, let's begin our conversation on today's reading.
Hi, and welcome back to VIBEZ Daily Podcast, where we're going through our series called Devoted. We are on day 129. Woo!
It's going by quickly.
So quickly. Just to say 100 and something is just mind-blowing, right?
Yeah.
Thank you to the editors. They edited 100 and something.
Yeah, thank you.
Ooh,
They're the real MVPs.
Yeah, they're the real ones. Yes. But yeah, here we are again, back in 2 Chronicles. And we're going through chapters 9, 10, 11, and 12.
Yep.
Yeah. 9 through 12. That's a much easier way to say it.
You know what? But that's okay. Let them know exactly which numbers.
But yeah, we starting with your girl, Queen of Sheba.
Listen.
I know you're ready for it. You ready.
My thing is, unless I'm romanticizing this, we have one chapter?
Yeah.
That's it?
That's it. Yeah.
As detailed. Remember a couple days ago I was saying that this is one of the most detailed. Like we know how many pillars and shovels and ounces of gold and all of that kind of stuff.
Your girl got
one chapter with 12 verses?
Yeah. Was okay, so remind, was Kings that short too? Like there's a few verses?
It was just, it was about the same amount.
Oh, Lord.
And I'm like, I think you said 10? First Kings 10, I believe.
Okay, let's go back.
Oh,
yeah, because she didn't even get a whole chapter there either. It was 13 verses.
And I'm like, 13 bars? Wow. And here's the thing.
Yeah.
I just know that, I mean, obviously, this is the word of God, and everything is very strategic. And maybe we would get too caught up on all of the details and all that kind of thing. But for me, it was just hard for me to just kind of absorb the fact that it's just this one. And then their dialogue that's here, and actually they're not showing him really interacting with her much, but when she just says, basically, to paraphrase, how happy your people must be, what a privilege, like it just seems very sterile, like really that's all of the, like, these are both great people in their own right, so that was just like, I was expecting a little bit more. I was
about to say, what were you expecting? What were you hoping that you would see?
I don't know exactly, but more than 12 bars.
Okay. Yeah.
But I just thought that I feel like on their level there would be a lot to discuss. Like if if France and Russia got together, it's just like, I feel like the opportunity to speak and discuss and all those kinds of things were just so great. And then at the end, he gives her a bunch of gifts, she gives him a bunch of gifts, and okay, I'll see you never, I guess, kind of. It was just very abbreviated for me, so I was expecting more. That's all.
Yeah. No, I didn't even realize how short it was until you pointed it out. That it's not much. It is like, okay, I heard about you, Solomon. Let me come lay eyes on it. Oh, okay.
Let me ask you a couple questions. See. Okay, bye.
I see your people, right? I see your people. I see your stuff. More than I expected. Here's my little gifts. Oh, you gave me a lot of gifts.
Here's some spices. And then they say, what do they say about the spices?
Yeah.
Never before had there been spices as fine as those Queen of Sheba gave to King Solomon. Like, okay. That's great.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's it. That's all.
That's
yeah.
it.
And
That's
I wonder, like I said, was that like literally just the point? It's just to be like this great queen who came balling though.
She came stunting.
She did. Like, it's not like she just came with like pennies. Like, she came with tons of gold.
Yeah.
And even she was blown away. Which I do was just like, okay, he must have been something.
He was something. No, and she obviously was something
she
as
was something
well
for
because
sure.
he, gave her a bunch of stuff as well. And then I also thought maybe it's like, well, not maybe. I'm sure it was strategy. Like she wants to be in good graces with this guy politically as well. And I'm sure that she was not a bad person to also have a good relationship with politically as well. So that was just interesting to me because I don't know, I just expected more.
Yeah. But I do want to like say what I thought about. It was interesting. What I did think about though was that she got a whole like description of her visit, and then some of these other kings was like, and some of these other kings brought gold and stuff, and they didn't even get a name.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
I do appreciate something, but like you said, I would have probably thought there would be a little bit more.
Just a little bit more. So
yeah,
that was it. And then also, I feel like it would be like maybe not to convert her because I don't know what her religious leanings were. I don't think that they say specifically, but like that would have been a good opportunity to like spread the word to her kingdom as well. But if she came from, I mean, there's different takes on it, but more than likely it was probably Ethiopia. Is that your understanding? As well?
Exactly.
And Christianity was already there. So, well, obviously not Christianity, but you know what I mean.
So
so that's
at least
just
the word about.
That was fascinating for me.
And that's an interesting thought too. That like we just don't see a whole lot of like Solomon influencing others in terms of loving the Lord, right? Like
even with his wives, right?
Yeah, like we see he got influenced, but like there's not a lot of him influencing them about the Lord, which is interesting. But he sure did give folk gold. He
got some good gifts himself.
And he got some gifts. So like the tangibles, he was good at.
He was good. And right up here.
Up there, the knowledge, right?
The knowledge was there.
Right. The knowledge was there.
So yeah.
I love though, just how she pointed out, like even how your attendance, like in verse 4, she was like the food, the table, the seating of your officials, the attendance of your servants, and their clothing. Yeah, I love what she thought. Their clothing.
Yeah, she probably had that eye for fashion.
Yes, exactly. The cupbearers and their clothing. Yeah, like the burnt offerings that you offered, like, and so there was no more breath in her. I do love that, like you said, she came and she was attentive to detail.
Yeah, she
peeped game. And I don't know, I love that, like, people came to see how the Lord had blessed him. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you must be blessed. Like, if folk coming to see.
And okay, I'm going to get off this in just a second. But another thing, like you said, she came all that way to see him. So my thing is, that's a royal visit. She wasn't there for just one day and then left. No. Like they were there for a minute. Like,
a minute.
So and that was a custom of traveling. You would travel all this distance. You would camp or stay wherever you were being hosted, and then you would leave. So I think also that is why I thought there would just be a little bit more. But to your point, she was very observant of everything.
She was.
Yeah, and even asked him questions and stuff like, I'm gonna test this out. Yeah. But your Lord has blessed you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So.
And I even love, you said how this Queen Sheba, she's really well known too. Like, we've at least heard rumors of her up until this day. So she was a big deal too.
She was a pretty big deal.
She was a big deal too. Yeah. So I love it. I love it that she even finds her way into our Bible.
Yeah, that's beautiful. It's beautiful. But yeah.
So Solomon's wealth, as we keep on going on, I think that's my little title, little subhead, from like 13 on, and his death. So kind of just like talks him up of all this gold he had and all the stuff the kings brought for him, and I just can't even imagine all these horses and stalls and these things, which is interesting to me because I feel like I remember in like back in Moses' day, one of the, or was it Samuel? Now things are running together.
A little.
They happen. But yeah, like somebody mentioned like to not acquire lots of horses from Egypt. And
it sounds familiar. I don't know
right?
what that is, though. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And I'm like, oh, here we go, acquiring lots of horses from Egypt.
This is a foreshadowing.
Yeah, exactly. Here we go. We already got a glimpse.
You would have had 3 less horses.
Listen.
But yeah.
If you didn't carry the one.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
yeah.
it was a lot. And so I think to your point, like we see the beauty of Solomon,
yeah,
but not his downfalls.
Yeah, that's so true. Like, because this is opulent. This would impress most people.
Yeah,
like, yeah. So and I think, I don't know, I'm kind of thinking that maybe that's a reminder for us. Don't get caught up in that. Like, know his heart. And have the right heart posture, but don't get caught up in all this. And it's easy to do so. So I think that's a good illustration of, this is the least of God's blessings for him.
Yeah.
And he said that he would bless him with riches. So this is not anything that he's like, conniving for. He got this.
Yeah, because of God.
Because of God. So
yeah. No, I think it, like you said too, it even shows you can have all this knowledge and wisdom and wealth, but still not be in the will of the Lord. Even though the Lord has blessed you with it. Mm-hmm. And so I think I was looking at Bible Project though. Yes. Shout out again. That they were
sponsor us. Sponsor our podcast.
Bing. That they were saying that, like, the writer of Chronicles really wanted to like encourage the people, and so they weren't gonna like rehash all the downfalls of the people.
Yeah,
but that's one thing is that like we're just not seeing here that was laid out in the Kings was like all his downfalls.
Yeah, and I think that this is nice though, because it's easy for us to get caught up in the downfalls. The drama. Yeah, this guy did this and this guy did that.
Yeah, the drama.
But this is saying, he did this, but look at it from a different vantage point. Yeah. And it's easy for us to get caught up on all of the bad things. So yeah, I like this.
Yeah. So it's hope, encouragement.
Yes, definitely.
For the folks. So chapter 10. Mm-hmm. So now we have Solomon, who has died with all his riches, but now his son Rehoboam has taken over. And and there's this guy named Jeroboam, and so previously we got a little bit more insight that like Jeroboam was like this servant in Solomon's household who fled, and Solomon was actually like looking for him.
Oh, thanks for reminding me of this.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Solomon was looking for him. He hid in Egypt, and now that he has heard that Solomon's dead, he's come on back.
He said, "It's my time to shine.
It's my time." And so, and at some point, a prophet had met Jeroboam and just let him know, like, hey, I'm going to be stripping the kingdom away from, the king of the lineage of David. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to give you a chance to accept me as your king, but we know Jeroboam doesn't do that.
No.
So here we see.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, he does not. So here we see now this, where the division has begun and how it happened between Judah and Israel. It starts right here with Rehoboam and this terrible advice, decision, stuff that happens. Talk to me about it.
Yeah, so this actually is sad, and it's also very, very much prevalent today. Yeah. So Rehoboam asked, the elders, his advisors, the people that advise his father, even, I believe, right?
With all that wisdom, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he was like, "Hey, so how do you think that I should deal with my subjects or whatever?" And they were like, "Yeah, just." What was the exact words? They said, if you're good to these people and do your best to please them and give them a favorable answer, they will always be your loyal subjects.
Yep.
So he was like, I don't know if I want to do that. Let me go to my boys.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, nah.
These are his rabble rousers.
Yeah.
These are his yes men. These are his sycophants, more than likely.
Yeah.
And they were like, look, listen, our advice is, what do they say? Basically, just to summarize, don't do that. Be harder than your dad was.
Right.
Don't listen to those old guys. Listen to us.
Right.
Tell them that you're the boss and your way goes. And yeah. And then we see what happens after that. It's rough.
It's rough.
It's rough.
Like, it's rough to the point they're just like, listen, what portion do we have in David? Everybody took their own house. We ain't listening to you.
They said, what do they say in 16? They said, down with the dynasty of David. We have no interest in the son of Jesse. Back to your homes, O Israel. Look out for your own house, O David.
You on your own, boo.
Yeah.
We're not serving you. And what's even more messed up is that he tried to flex. Like, he tried to flex and send out this Hadoram. I'm not sure if I said that right, but he was a task. Yes, in verse 18, he says taskmaster of forced labor. So he's supposed to be ruling over the forced labor. All these hundreds of thousands of people, and he goes out there and gets stoned.
They were like, let me tell you what we think about your servant boy.
Yeah.
And
Rehoboam gets in his chariot, rolls out.
He's like,
that's all I had in my mind.
yeah,
like,
me too. I gotta get out of here.
Hey, go. Like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, this is.
He's like running and jumping.
It's like, it's giving Boys in the Hood. That's what.
He's like, okay, maybe that wasn't the best idea, so I'm gonna get out of here.
Yeah, we're just gonna get out. And then he started to build up the city, you know, and his warriors, because obviously he like. Yeah, so to chapter 11 we go.
Yeah.
And here we go, and he's trying to muster up to fight Israel. So he's trying to get his army together.
Yeah.
And a prophet from the Lord stops him. It's just like, don't do that. This came from me. This came from the Lord.
Yeah. Shemaiah?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And so he's just like, don't do that. This came from me. And so he goes back and he just starts to build up the cities. So any thoughts on that or anything else in chapter 11?
I just like, I think so. Shemaiah, to what you just said, you know, he was basically, don't fight with your relatives, you know, this, that, and the other. But when he says, it says, say to Rehoboam, son of Solomon. So it's like reminding you who you are. So I think that was important. And what we said before, I'm not sure if it was yesterday, but we were like, people forget. So this was kind of like a reminder. Do you know who your dad is? I'm saying this to you. To kind of maybe humble you. If your dad was humble, you probably should be humble too, because I don't recall, let me read. I don't see where they say he had all that gold and all that wisdom and all that kind of stuff. So let me flip through. Yeah, they don't say that. So
he was not the wise one.
Perhaps you should know your role and know your place. Does he though? No. Okay.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. What I love going forth, although we're just gonna put him on the back burner for now. Put him right there. What I love is these extra context that we get in this verse 13 down to like 16-ish, 17 actually. That, okay, so I always wondered when I was reading this Bible, it'd be confusing y'all sometimes, but I used to always wonder, how could little old Judah rival the other 10 tribes, right? How does Judah and Benjamin did? Like, how do they rival the other 10 tribes and even think that they could fight against them? One thing that helped was seeing the map and seeing how big the territory of Judah was. Like, there was a bunch of people who lived there. But then there was this verse 13 through 16 that wasn't in the Kings and stuff. That when this split happened, remember when Jeroboam, he assigned, you know, pretty much priests to, he was like, okay, I'm not going to let them go back and serve the Lord in Jerusalem because their hearts might go back and return there. And he's just like, I don't want them to go back. So I'm building these calves. these calves
Here we
again.
go.
Building these calves, and he built all these idols, and he was like, here are your guys that brought you out of Egypt, and worship them. And then he assigned his own priest and was just like, hey, anybody who wants to be a priest, bring an offering and you can be a priest to these guys, pretty much. And he wouldn't let the and here it tells us that he wouldn't even let the priests and the Levites serve, because it says that like Jeroboam didn't allow them to serve. But so I love here in this verse 13 through 16 though, that it did show me how Jerusalem got so many, or how Judah got so many people, because it says, and the priests and Levites who were in all Israel presented themselves to him from all the places where they lived. This is to Rehoboam. For the Levites left their common lands and their holdings and came to Judah and Jerusalem, because Jeroboam and his sons cast them out from serving as priests of the Lord. And he appointed his own priests for the high places and for the goat idols and for the calves that he had made. But then it says, and those who had set their hearts to seek the Lord of Israel came after them from all the tribes of Israel to Jerusalem to sacrifice to the Lord, the God of their fathers. They strengthened the kingdom of Judah, and for 3 years they made Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, secure. And so I love that it said this here, because then it answered my question I had this whole time. Like, y'all this big, and y'all trying to fight against Israel. But it did show me that, like, all these people, like, not everybody went along with Jeroboam.
Yeah, it was kind of like an exile. It
was kind of like, okay, yeah, Jeroboam, you tripping. Like,
we're not trying to get the smite.
Yeah, we're not doing that. And so all those who, like, actually did love the Lord and did want to serve him did leave their homes and their lands.
They left everything.
They left
all they knew, just to come serve God, really.
Yeah. To come and live in Judah and live here so that they can serve the Lord. And that makes sense to me as how they got so many people.
Yeah. I never thought about that, but that's a good point. Like, how did you?
Yeah. So here Rehoboam takes some wives. Concubines. Come on, shout out to Celeste.
Yes, Miss Celeste. We love you.
She be like, concubines.
With disdain.
The disdain, for sure.
You know what I think is kind of, speaking of his concubines and all of that, but it's like, it always happens where they have 11 wives, but then they love one the most.
Just stick with the one.
Please.
All you need is one.
Not only just wives, but also concubines.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah. It's always the thing. Like, we've seen that over and over in the Bible. Like, when that just causes drama in the home. So
yeah, it does.
Yeah. Like, sir, you had enough drama without that. Like,
you got Jeroboam over here running crazy, taking half your kingdom. You don't need no extra household drama. Focus. Yeah. But yeah, like, I love that you mentioned in verse 20, like, he took what's her name? Maacah? Maacah?
I think so.
Yeah, the daughter of Absalom. And I was just thinking, like, Absalom, they were described him as, like, the most handsome man in the land. They were like, nobody looked better than Absalom. He was flawless, head to toe. So I'm like, his daughter must have been the baddie too. So
he must have been fine.
He must have been fine. Rehoboam was like, she my favorite.
Yes.
She my favorite.
He loved her more than any of his wives and concubines.
And appointed the son that he had with her as going to be the next king.
Yeah. And making it clear. It's in my version. It says making it clear,
crystal,
that he would be the next king.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. So here we are in chapter 12. You don't have anything else for 11?
I'm good.
Yeah. Here we are in chapter 12, where although we had this alliance with Egypt at first because Solomon married Pharaoh's daughter, but now we see that Egypt and Judah are at odds now.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Do we know who Rehoboam's mom was, or what tribe, or anything? Did I miss that?
You know what? We do.
But later, or?
But I feel like it's in one of them genealogy lists.
Well, I'll have to go to
Just
another version of that. Let's skip along.
Yeah, I think so. We do know.
I was just curious, like they mention Pharaoh's daughter, and I'm like, is that his mom or whose mom?
Oh, right.
I mean,
like
he did have a lot of
he got
choices of,
concubines.
So
Sir,
that might not have been.
which one of your thousands did this come from? I don't know who he came from.
Okay,
But yeah,
just curious.
It's in here somewhere. But yeah, so here we go. So he said that he had 3 strong years of following the Lord.
It was like, that's it.
And then
Where's the golden calf?
we don't know what happened to the faith, but something went rocky, and the Lord then sent Egypt. In my version says in verse 1, when the rule of Rehoboam was established and he was strong, he abandoned the law of the Lord and all Israel with him. So in that 5th year, because they had been unfaithful to the Lord, Shishak, king of Egypt, came up against Jerusalem. So here we are.
Here we are again.
And again and again.
Probably Pharaoh's daughter wasn't his mom then. Probably not.
Probably not. It probably was her out. Because I'd be like, Ma, get your people.
Get your people. Be like, Granddad,
Cousins.
come on.
Cousin.
Oh, please.
Stop trying to stab me.
We can work this out, I'm sure. But yeah, let's see. So he came with all of the things. 1,200 chariots, 60,000 horses.
Just the horsemen alone.
Countless of foot soldiers.
Countless. We don't have a number.
Yeah. Libyans, Sukkites, and Ethiopians.
He called the crew too.
He did. He was like, let's mount up. Literally.
And
in some
roll out.
cases.
No, for real.
Yeah. So what sticks out to you? Is there anything particular in 12 that you want to discuss?
Yeah, I think one thing that stuck out to me is that the Lord was just straight up. Like, here's our guy Shemaiah the prophet again, who comes back to Rehoboam again and says, well, this is what the Lord said. Because you abandoned me, I've abandoned you and given you over to this king. And, but the king humbled themselves. If my people will call by my name, will humble themselves. Here we go with the humility. And guess what happens? The Lord keeps his word.
Yeah.
He says in verse 7, when the Lord saw that they humbled themselves, the word of the Lord came to Shemaiah. And he said, they have humbled themselves. I will not destroy them, but I will grant them some deliverance. Lord, you so kind.
Very kind. Because it was real convenient that, now I'm humbled. Oh my goodness. You know what, Lord? I was joshing. I didn't. Just kidding. Yeah, sorry. But
yeah. That was funny. But the Lord shows up and does his thing as always.
As always.
But King of Egypt still took away some of the treasury, so we talked about some of that stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah, in my version it says ransacked.
Ooh, come on.
That's rough. They were looting, plundering, pillaging.
You right.
The treasuries of the Lord's temple and the royal palace.
Yeah.
He stole everything. It says
he took everything,
including all the gold shields. And wow, that's like people stealing hubcaps.
No, for real.
They probably those nails. Took the nails out.
Your car is just on bricks.
Raw.
We just took it all apart. Took the sound system out.
Yep. But guess what? This was God's promise to them.
It sure
was.
This
is what's going to happen, and his promise is true. We know this. So
it is. And so then the king, all of a sudden when they humbled themselves again, verse 12, the wrath of the Lord turned from him, and he did not completely destroy them.
But it did say completely. Like, you got a little destroyed.
You got destroyed a little bit. The ransack says that you got
ransacked. My word.
But yeah. But I love our author because our author is so positive in telling this story. Because in verse 13, my version phrases it as, so King Rehoboam grew strong in Jerusalem and reigned. Did he? Did he?
Mine says he firmly established himself in Jerusalem and continued to rule. That was a positive, because I probably would be in despair, like, we barely escaped.
I'm like, you got away with words, because you turned this thing around for us.
You turned it around. I mean, whoever that scribe was.
Exactly. I mean, verse 14, he was honest, though, right? And he did evil. He did evil. He did. But, you know.
Oh, wait. Delete that part. But Rehoboam's mother was Naamah.
Okay, yeah.
The woman of she was an Ammonite. What do we know about them? Remind me.
So those were just another people that were supposed to be annihilated when they came into the land, but they didn't. And they stuck around.
Okay. So... Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, one of them foreign women. Mm-hmm.
Never mind, but still.
Yes. And so, Rehoboam now dies, and, and his son, Abijah, is next.
He's next.
All right, well, that's for tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll learn more about him tomorrow.
I know. We'll see you guys later. Bye.
Thank you for joining us for the VIBEZ Daily podcast. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, or download our favorite, the VIBEZ Church app. Visit vibes.church/devoted for additional episodes, notes, details, and the latest merch. Join us next time as we continue our journey through the Bible. Take good care.